for joining us here again on the West Indies Cricket Development Academy YouTube channel, the TV, as we bring to you now another Cricket Hall of Fame induction interview. We are here with our third guest, Mr. Leon Francis. He's always on with us covering West Indies cricket, and he's with us this morning to discuss his upcoming Hall of Fame introduction. That's on October 5th, just in a few days' time. Mr. Francis, welcome, and just an overview on you being on our show. And once again, we thank you for joining us this morning.
Let me say good morning to you, Mr. Cogman, and to all your viewers and listeners around the world. I consider it a pleasure and honor for you to invite me, and I hope I can do justice to this interview this morning. Thanks for your inviting me, and I hope that I can do my utmost to give you the most of myself and what I have done over the years for the development of cricket.
Yeah, thank you so much again for joining us. As we get on this morning, you are live to almost half a million people plus. How happy are you to be speaking to such a wide section of cricket lovers all over the world, in Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, all over Asia? How is the feeling?
I'm overwhelmed, and I hope they will enjoy this interview this morning. I'll give all I know and what I can do and what I hope to do in the near future.
Wonderful. As we get into it, what are your thoughts on being inducted in the Cricket Hall of Fame?
I never thought that I would have been inducted or been invited or introduced to be a member of the Hall of Fame, not for honor. And when this came, it was a surprise, it was a shock to me, and I would open my arms and accept it with dignity and honor, and hope others may just see me as that.
We'll be right back with our stream. Please, all viewers, as we are experiencing some difficulties. We'll be right back. As we discuss is Cricket Hall of Fame induction that is coming up on October 5th. Mr. Francis, just pick up back on what is the feeling of being inducted in the Cricket Hall of Fame. That will be done, God spare life, on October 5th.
Yes, as I said before, I am overwhelmed, and I did not think that I would have been selected. But now that it has come, I will open my both arms and just accept it and do justice to the Hall of Fame. Over the years, I've played, at least not played, but done quite a bit for cricket. It started from my name, Craven Road in Otters, playing cricket behind a coconut tree, and as you see in the background, there is a coconut tree, and we used to use the coconut tree as our wicket and the boughs at our bat. In hit, in the neighbor's fence, they will grab it and then give it back to us. So I remember those days, and to see I am really, really, truly overwhelmed.
Yeah, we are experiencing, if you are getting any audio issue there, viewers, it's because of the inclement weather that we're suffering here in the Caribbean from the um, weathers that are out. But once again, we are here with Mr. Francis discussing his upcoming Hall of Fame induction. Um, Once again, Mr. Francis, um, as we, what's your favorite um, cricketing memories growing, coming up?
Oh, yes, I, I'm glad you told me about that. You asked me about that because one memory came to me, or three I can relate. Serving as was given the opportunity to take the great city fields around Antigua. And I was given the opportunity to do that. And I took him around, so was one of my idols. Cigar was one of my idols from youth. Used to walk with the same swagger. I used to walk with my collar up, and to have the opportunity to drive him around. I had my first daughter with me then, and he held her in a hand. And, suddenly in those days, we didn't have the camera, and the cameraman didn't follow us. But I took him around, and I feel so overjoyed when you have your idol in your car, speaking to him, and was able to communicate with him, to ask him how he gets where he is, or where he was at that time, and how is it here. That was one situation. Then there's another that I can recall having the great Sir Vivian Richards. He was not doing too well, and I went to a course named Dale Carnegie in the city of St. John's and gave him that booklet. To my surprise, years after, he came back to Antigua, and lots of insurance agents were calling him to buy insurance. And he came, I'm not going to buy insurance with nobody else but Leon. And to be honest, I sold him one of the largest policies that I ever sold. The commission I made was what I from that one policy was more than I made in a week's time. So that was another incident.
Wow.
Then there, play. Go ahead, talk to me. Go ahead.
No,
As you're saying?
I'm saying, wow, that's great.
Yes, indeed. And then there is another occasion playing with the St. George's Cricket Club in the Bronx. I was a left arm swing bowler, and out of this world, I pitched a ball, and it hit the bail and broke it in two. And that's a true story. I don't know how the laws of physics would have made that happen. And today I'm still at awe about that. So these are just three of the incidents that I had. I had some bad days and some good days, but those stood out for me throughout my lifetime. And now one more. Speaking to the great Leo Gore. Leo Gore is the father of Hugh Gore. I don't know if you have known of Hugh Gore. He played for. He grew up in Barbados, having been schooled there, and he went over to play with Somerset as well, I believe. But his father was one of the greatest cricket minds I've ever known, and he helped me along the way, recommend me to get a scholarship. To be one of the panelists to obtain a scholarship. I didn't get the scholarship, but the fact that he did it and did so much for me. When I joined the St. John's Club, he was the captain then, and he taught me quite a bit about cricket. And I remember him scoring a double century against St. Kitts was, and that was one of the most blistering centuries I've ever seen in my life. 200, I think it was, not out. So those are some of the things that went through my mind.
Wonderful, wonderful. As we say before, we are here with Mr. Leon Francis, discussing his upcoming Cricket Hall of Fame induction that will be held on October 5th. And as we say that, let's just show you um, some scenes under the 43rd induction ceremony, also the upcoming induction of the former Prime Minister Simpson Miller as well, and that exhibition match on October 5th as well, and that will be at Kennedy Park there in Connecticut as well. Back with Mr. Francis again. Sir Francis, share your thoughts on the current state of West Indies cricket.
Well, of course, West Indies cricket is not in a good state of wise. The days that we were on top, it was joy for us all. Now they're down, we're sad, we're gloomy. But I think we need not lose hope. There are three or four formats of the game right now. I think enough emphasis is not put on the longer format. And from that, if you know the basics of the longer format, you tend to carry it over when things are rough. The average young man coming up, he wants to be in the IPL, he wants to go in the Canadian Premier League, CPL, you name it. But I believe it has to begin with knowing the basics, doing it well, and if you're going to play all three formats, you should take the techniques you bring from the longer format when the times are tough. I see there is an emphasis on the administration and the various bodies in the world to push for the shorter format. Now I feel, and there is, to me, a tendency to want to kill Test cricket. I think Test cricket is well alive, and all four or three formats can exist. So I would suggest that they put some more emphasis for youth playing the longer format, and then they evolve into the shorter format. They'll be better cricketers overall.
Yeah, it will give
West,
them it will give them a lot of foundation.
indeed.
Absolutely. Um, what emotions come to mind when thinking about your induction on October 5th?
I'm happy. I'm really happy, and my relatives and families are happy for me, and the number of messages I have received over the past few weeks, you know, I'm feeling really proud to be in this position, and I'm happy that I'm able to attend. Now, my only sad part of this is that my wife, whom we were together for over 53 years, has gone and left us. But and then followed that, at least my son went before her, and then my wife went. And that is the saddest moment of this exercise, because I would have hoped that they both would be here to celebrate with me. However, my other two daughters are coming, and we just hope that we can just have a great time despite her loss.
Absolutely. And we here at West Indies Cricket Development Academy share in these moments with you. What is what your share your thoughts on the significance of the Cricket Hall of Fame?
It is significant, is very significant to me. And I tell you, many people have reached out to me and asked me questions. To be fair, I go to a church in Crawfordville, and the past pastor asked me to teach him how to play cricket. It was just something that I enjoy doing. And I gave him the laws of the game. I gave him the history of the game. And when I told him about cricket was the first international test match was played in this country, he was overwhelmed and at awe. and he was studying. Sadly enough, just before the World Cup, he passed. And I was hoping that he would have been here to sit with me to go over a game at the highest level and see the reaction of the crowd and his reaction, but it wasn't to be. And I'm happy that I'm going to be inducted, and I hope that others too will not cease doing what they're doing. They'll just continue, and one day they too will be inducted. And I promise to work along with the organization to make it one that can attract and encourage others not only to play cricket, but to work in the administration and let cricket be a household word. And youngsters growing up will not only divert to baseball, football, American football, or track and field, as it were, but to have this as one of their major tools. Because cricket, to me, is one of the most exciting sports that you can have. And it's not expensive. And right now, cricket is all year round. When I was small or younger growing up, there was only maybe two or three matches were played, internationally over a month's time. Now, almost every day, there is cricket being played around the world. So a youngster is not left out of seeing what cricket is all about and how the other countries react to the sport. It's great. It's the second most watched spectator sports in the world. And we just hope that it can develop in the United States. Okay, and the United States has the funding, and cricketers can do well. They just adhere to what is there for them.
Wonderful. We are here again with Mr. Leon Francis. He is originally from the beautiful Twin Island country of Antigua and Barbuda, and he later on moved to the United States. Antigua and Barbuda is the headquarters of West Indies cricket, and they have been so for many years now. It is also the island from which Sir Vivian Richards came from, Sir Richie Richardson, Ambrose, and a few others. And it is also the island where Brian Lara would have broke the record of the Sir Gary Sobers, who on this show we pay great respect to some years ago. We are here talking about the upcoming induction ceremony on October 5th, where Mr. Leon Francis, for the tremendous work that he has done in cricket over the years, will be fittingly recognized for his contribution to world cricket and more so cricket here in the West Indies. And you are here on your number one Caribbean channel for West Indies cricket, the West Indies Cricket Development Academy TV. Mr. Francis is a contributor to our academy. He's always on show with us, and when we are covering West Indies cricket, and we are happy that we have the chance to interview him this blessed morning. How does this recognition validate your contribution to cricket, Mr. Francis?
It's significant, and I just hope that it will show others that they too can achieve this distinction. But just going back to the Lara's, Dr. Lara's record in Antigua, and not much recognition is given to one Chiki. I don't know even you have heard about the Chiki High Five.
Yeah,
And I
a
grew up
famous
next to him.
supporter.
Yeah, yes, indeed. And I grew up next to him in the same street. He's on the opposite side. His mother used to feed me. And of course, we go from, and to see him playing and help him because the music he played originated from him when he played between the overs, that must have suited um, the great Sir Brian to concentrate and make that run, those 365 and 400 runs at the Antigua Recreation Ground. There was the headquarters where I played, at least our home ground where I played for St. John's. And my greatest total there was a marvelous 96. And I remember that knock. It was out of this world. And playing cricket at the Antigua Recreation Ground is another story because it's a billiard board, as it were, and it's hard for you to get it rising above the waist. So if you don't get a line and length, you're going to be put away. And that day I was on song, hitting the ball from all parts of the ground. And my partner was a guy by the name of Fitzroy Sargent, and he was at the other end. And I did a cover drive, and he thought that ball would have gone through the covers. He started to run down to my wicket. I had to shout to him, "Wait!" And by the time I said wait, he could not turn back in time. He was run out. So I remember those days. So just to
Yeah.
bring you back with something back to the Antigua Recreation Ground, which perhaps is one of the most historic grounds in the region. I played there and helped decorate when the very first test match or ODI came to Antigua. And it was just a marvelous thing to do. And I also worked a lot in football. And this program is not about football, it's all about cricket and what it has done for me and what I hope to do for it to make it a worldwide sport, and especially here in the Americas. You know, one of my objective is to popularize the show, and that's why we formed the, cricket
Cricket
show
Show
in
USA,
2000.
and yeah, and that's what I was just coming to, viewers and listeners um, should know that you have your own cricket show, and that is heard on Blog Talk Radio and also on the Zoom platform on Sunday evenings. Starting at 6. And it has done quite a lot for cricket in keeping. Where I've spoken to people from the United Kingdom that has no farm or connection to you, but can testify that your show is one of which they listen to keep abreast with things here in the Caribbean and in the region. And it must be a satisfying feeling to know that you're still contributing in some way, form, and fashion to the to people knowing and listening West Indies cricket.
Yes, indeed. But before that, though, I joined the Florida Caribbean Sports Line in 2002. Oliver Solomon was the founder, and Everett Carter also was the co-host. And I was a statistician on the show. We did it for 15 years until sadly both Everard and Oliver got ill. And we just want to take the opportunity to pray for them. It has been a while, but nothing, God can do anything. And I believe one day he may just put them back to walk again. But in 2010, I founded the cricket show, and we had a number of wonderful panelists who worked along with me and let it be what it is today. We have produced over 1,500 episodes, consuming about 10,000 hours of broadcasting over the period of time. We have had the pleasure and privilege to interview a number of people, including the former president, Dave Cameron, the former Ricky Skerritt, and the present president, and a number of other persons, include Shoaib Akhtar, that great fast bowler out of Pakistan.
Yes.
We did that too. But our aim is to really develop cricket and let it be something to be adored by youngsters and cherished and be the greats in the future years.
Absolutely. How will you celebrate this achievement of being inducted in the Cricket Hall of Fame?
Like I said, I really don't. I'm going to take it with a pinch of salt. I love the honor, but I love more to see cricket be a household word in the United States. I really appreciate it because you know, I'm, I don't, I'm not able to get a lot of credits. But the point is, I know from my heart I'm doing what I set out to do, and I've seen the progress. And hopefully, when a youngster starts to play cricket, when a youngster makes it to the West Indies team, when a youngster adhere to the principles that help him develop himself and be a great, that's what pleases me. During my life, I have sent books to a number of persons to help them. I never even met them, but I send books to them. And I just don't want to name names, but I just will want to point out to the great Darren Sammy when he came to, well, before he came to Florida, I sent him a booklet, and when he came to Antigua, Richie Richardson, my friend, he too was the manager of the team, and we went to see him. We saw Darren Sammy, and it was a privilege. I grew mangoes in my backyard. I have 12 mango trees that grew in Florida, and we have the Valencia Pride is the ones that I popularized. And I gave him a bag of mangoes, and he cherished them as if it were he were making a century. So these are the things that I like to do and let cricket cricketers feel um, happy. And I want to just continue doing that the rest of my days if I can help some youngsters grow up, love the game, develop themselves, and go into professional cricket and make the names for themselves. One day I'll get their autograph.
Absolutely. And Darren Sammy is the former West Indies two-time World Cup captain and now white ball head coach. What this honor mean to you and your family, Mr. Francis?
We're going to cherish it, and I will do my utmost to make others aim for such a distinction. I want to see youngsters develop, and if whatever I can do, there's nothing too good for me to give because I said whatever you have in life, you're only the caretaker. And if you were to give it, over my years, I have given a lot, not only myself and the work I do, but I've given part of my wealth. And it does not seem as if I lose 1 cent. I give you $100, it seems as if tomorrow I get 200. It
Wonderful.
just happens like that. And I enjoy giving. If you're my friend, you know you're going to get a gift from me, no matter. That is my aim, to help others. And I just hope that God can give me the privilege to continue to do so. And if ever I were to become a rich person, I will make sure that everybody strive to be rich. If I were to become a great cricketer, I want to see everyone strive to become a great cricketer or a great administrator. I have some great number of panelists who have devoted their time, energy, and they did it without compensation. They do it for the love of cricket, and they do it without any. I have one lady called from London, England, and she called religiously when there was a difference of 5 hours. When we're talking to her on our show on Sundays, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and she's still awake and up and can
That's
concentrate.
commitment. That's commitment and love. You can't buy that.
You never can. And I cherish that to the bottom of my heart. And also have Mr. Dennis Heat. I don't know where he gets energy from. He's the indefatigable among the show. You have Jatin Patel, you have Ivor Henry, you have Audley Watson, you name it. Simon O'Brien and his wife, they will just contribute. Mr. Mackenzie, and he will, on his sick bed, he will still send me a check. Say, Mr. President, put that into the kitty. That's the devotion and commitment I have from the members of the cricket show. And we're a happy bunch. We enjoy doing it. And like I said, we do it out of the kindness of our hearts. And we feel that we're giving to the world a sport that has been lacking, and we want to see it continue to grow and develop and be the number one spectator sport in the world.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. These are valuable information, and because many of you might be wondering why Mr. Francis is worthy of being inducted in the Hall of Fame, the first in the world, and these are the things that contribute to his worthiness and more of being inducted in the Cricket Hall of Fame. He's a generous supporter of cricket and its development. Mr. Francis, how did your playing days shape your perspective on the game of cricket? Just coming up, bring us back to when you first begin to draw a love for this game, this wonderful game of cricket that leads to this moment of being recognized as. Um, just to let the viewers know, there are some great names that are inducted and will be inducted in the Cricket Hall of Fame. Famous people like the former Indian batter Sunil Gavaskar and Vivian Richards, Mikey Holden, and many others. You will be among those uh, ones to already been inducted in the Cricket Hall of Fame. Um, what in your early days coming into this game, how does that shape your perspective of this wonderful game that you have come to love?
But like I said before, I grew up in a little village named in Otters, Craven Road, and we used to play behind a shipwreck shop. And there was a coconut tree we used as a wicket, and we made bats out of coconut boughs and leftover material from the shipwright. And we played there. We played for days. I tell you, after I have done my chores in the morning and there was no school, make sure everything is done, I would go, we would play, and we never felt hungry. We just keep on playing. And one of the things I can recall that when we were playing and I bowled and I could not get out a guy, to be honest, I cried because I couldn't get out and nobody could get me off the ball because I'm determined. I'm determined to get that wicket, but it didn't happen. I moved on and I played for the St. John's Boys School. I became the captain of the cricket team. I moved on to the Princess Margaret School. I also was the co-captain there as well. When I left school, I did reasonably well and I joined the St. John's Cricket Club. St. John's Cricket Club was one of the clubs that the elites would go to. And I had a cousin by the name of Oscar Williams. He was the Leeward Islands captain. He was one of the best openers in the region. He just merely missed being selected for the West Indies. He went in trials and he made a century. And the reason for them not to include him is that he had too many chances, but he stayed in the wicket. But he was a great batsman. And I met Mr. Leo Gore, and he was the captain of St. John's. And St. John's, you were not, you couldn't make the team easy. You had to gone through the gone through the process of validating whether or not you could make it. I came through the ranks and went and played for St. John's. I opened for St. John's. I wicket keeper for St. John's, and I bowled medium pacer for St. John's. And my highest total for St. John's was 96. And I had the greats like the Adolphus Freeland. He was the quick bowler for St. John's and others. And of course, the greatest cricket mind I've known, Mr. Leo Gore. He was the captain. He would teach you everything you know, and he was one of the toughest leaders. You know, drop a catch, you have to account to him. You bowl a loose delivery, you have to count to him. And you got so much help. I went on to play for the Antigua Sugar Factory, but after the sugar factory closed, I had to resort to a field, insurance field, and I didn't have enough time to play because that was demanding, but I still had time to be on the association, and I became a selector. And then I went into the football business and came into the sports council. And like I said before, I had the opportunity to meet Sir Gary, who was there, and I find it was such joy working and play and being a selector. We had to go and see recruit players, and it was such a wonderful experience for me. And even when I left the Antigua and came to the United States, cricket was in my blood. I had to find somewhere to play the game. I remember buying a dish, and I tell you something about that dish. That dish afforded me the opportunity to see the first ever match between the West Indies and South Africa. In those days, we were not seeing anything from out of the islands. The dish, I saw it live. I had it recorded, and had cricket parties and show that VHS, and those guys and girls would laugh. They would clap and applaud as if it were a real cricket match in progress. And that was joy to me. I would give scores to the various stations in Florida, and then we went on to having the two other shows. But cricket is something that I adore. Is nothing that I enjoy more than listening to good commentary, seeing a good match, listening to great speakers, Tony Cosia, and there was one Leonard Tim Hector, one of my school boys' favorite friend. We used to play cricket on the streets, going down Newgate Street to get my weekly allowance from my uncle Wilfred Williams, and Tim and I and others just play cricket in the streets, and we never been stopped by any policemen, but we just continue to just do it and do it with joy. And then he went his way, and I also went my way to Craven Road Artists. And to be honest, cricket is in my bones. And anytime I hear cricket, and anytime someone asks me about cricket, I'm so overjoyed to tell them about it and give them details about where they can find the sports and the like.
Absolutely. Once again, we thank our viewers for um, joining us. Some of them asking about Chris Gale and so forth, because the we had Gale on the thumbnail, and so that's what draws some people to us. But the former West Indies captain Chris Gale is well just celebrated yet again another year on earth, and he's doing wonderful. Mr. Francis, what message would you give the fans and supporters that are now watching this induction interview, those that will see it in the future? Many of your supporters are watching and will be watching. What would you want to say to them at this moment?
I want to say that I hope that they all enjoy the ceremony. It's going to be a marvelous affair, and They too, whatever they're doing for cricket, they should just continue. There is going to come a time when there's an opportunity going to be afforded them, and I just hope that they just continue to build cricket, help cricket. We want to see cricket be the number one spectator sports in the world. We want to see it grow in the United States. Don't lose hope. You may not be supporting the West Indies team and they're not winning now, but there's always an opportunity for growth. There's also some time in the future, some youngster is going to emerge and maybe better than anyone else before. We want to just do our part to help each and every one to be loving the game, to understanding the game, and we just can't give up. I love it, and even to in my older days now, I just can't do without it. When it comes Sunday afternoon and I'm not doing this, talking cricket or showing, watching cricket, it just feel I'm out of place. I want to see cricket develop in the USA. I want to see youngsters go, and most of all, I want to see West Indies cricket come back to the glory days. Anything that I can do, I will do. I'm not averse to helping in any way. Oh, like I said before, all what I have or what I hope to get is not mine. I only have it as guardian. And so too, we must pass on what we know, not only in wealth, whatever knowledge we know about cricket. I just write. Sometimes I get some not so good response to what I say,
Yeah.
but sometimes, but sometimes I feel good because I know it reaching somewhere because
Yeah.
someone may just
As public figures, we are sometimes attacked for views, but nevertheless, we are serving a purpose, and will continue to do that. What would you, what are your plans for post induction after receiving this induction in the Cricket Hall of Fame? What are your plans afterward? Because after being inducted, we also have the Lifetime Achievement Award for persons that continue to work tremendously in the game. And so, are you looking ahead after this induction that you will continue to contribute to cricket? Your perspective on the following.
yes, yes, indeed. I don't hope to discontinue. No, you don't have any control over your life, as it were. And when the time comes, you can't, you can't just stop. I want to encourage others, and most so others in my organization, to continue to contribute to cricket. Cricket, in my part, in my life, is to me my greatest sport. And I just hope that I can do more. I have done a lot which I feel is far from enough. And I want to go on and help others reach that plateau. I have some wonderful panelists, and I'm going to do whatever I can to help them, and they too will help me in reverse. I want to recruit more folks, and I plan to work along with the Hall of Fame to continue the work that they have done, because I think much more work can be done, and I have one or two proposals which I wish to lend to them to see if they will embark on these ideas, and we hope that Cricket Hall of Fame will be something that will be adored, treasured, and looked up to, and get the support of the international organizations, and we all can just live happily enjoying cricket. In my early days, we used to see cricket every 2 months. Now we're seeing Test match cricket,
all year round.
CPL all year round, and it's just a joy for me. I can put on my cell phone, can pull up a match. I can be away from home and still enjoy a match. And I want to see it just permeate and just go to all over the world, all over this country. And not only this country, but what I noticed too, a lot of other countries are also involved heavily in cricket. What I see that the gap is being narrowed in between West Indies, the standard played in the West Indies, and the standard playing in other countries.
Yeah,
We have to we have to see a way that we can keep on top. Because we want to see our teams qualifying for all the major tournaments in the world. And what can I do? Whatever I can do, and what I can do now, and what I can do in the future, I will do my utmost because cricket is, to me, is my lifelong ambition. The sport that I admire, sports I played, sports I know my friends played, and now that I have the talk show with my other panelists, I just I'm just so happy that I'm able to have this platform to relate to. I just want to talk about Jaitin Patel. He joined our organization and he has been one of the great part of our organization as well, provided with a lot of knowledge and a lot of inspiration. So to Dennis Heath, Ivor Henry, Oliver Watson, you name it. We have so much talent in our group, and I hope working with them we can find a way to carry on the work that we started. It has been a great honor and privilege to be on your show this evening. And I just want to just offer my sincere sympathy to Mr. Chambers. He too has been, he lost his mother. I just want to say, fortunate for him, but I lost my mother when I was 3 years old. I never see a picture of her, nor have I had the pleasure of, you know, knowing her, remembering her. And my dear uncle Wilfred Williams, he was the one who supported me. My father had some 17 kids. Not that he wouldn't want to, but I know the means wasn't there. So my uncle took up the challenge to help me along the way. And I'm so grateful for the help that has been given to me by my uncle Wilfred Williams and others, and my two adopted mothers, because one I had, and she didn't treat me as well as I would like. And, I ran away, as it were, and went to this other adopted mother. And to this day, I remember her birthday. Every time March the 3rd, 1896 comes around, I remember her name. Annie Carty is her name, and I just admire that. I just fear a little bit, but just to give a little bit about my background and what I want to do, and hopefully I will be helping to make cricket what we want it to be worldwide.
absolutely. Fine, fine thoughts there from Mr. Leon Francis. As we now bring this show to a close, let's take you back to some scenes. There, the exhibition match and coming up, and also the 43rd induction ceremony, also the induction of former Prime Minister Simpson Miller there on October 5th. So the Cricket Hall of Fame has a lot stored up, and as you can see on your screen there, and of course we are here discussing with Mr. Leon Francis rather about his upcoming induction. It was a fine time spent with Mr. Francis this morning. Your closing thoughts, Mr. Francis, and um, once again, we here at the Development Academy Media Arm are happy and elated for your induction come October 5th in the Hall of Fame.
Firstly, let me just offer my congratulations to all the other honorees, and just hope that they will have a wonderful evening come October the 5th. We want to thank Mr. Chambers, our executive director, and of course, all the other members of the board for the support that they have given me over the years. They give me a platform to interact with the other members of the board and others who would be inductors as well. I'm overwhelmed. I'm happy, and my family, they too are happy because they know that how much I like the sport, and they know that it makes me happy. And in times of sadness and displeasure, you have a sport like cricket. You have a forum like the panel we have every Sunday. It brings joy to you. And I just hope and pray that the Hall of Fame come October the 5th will go out without any, will go on without any interruptions. We'll have a great time. I get to meet some wonderful people that I've spoken to over the years. I've got to help in any way that I can and encourage others to do the same. I'm grateful to you, Mr. Codlin, because you have made it your a point of duty to introduce cricket to the world, I believe, not only Jamaica. You've done a great deal with inviting young Joel Andrew from Antigua. I'm sure most folks have heard that, and you have played it, as well as others. And your work has not gone unnoticed. We hope that others will see it in the light that you're doing and support you in all your endeavors. So too will all the would I'm hoping that all the other organizations who are striving to build this sport get from each and every one. And I'm really happy and privileged that you have invited me to do this interview. I'm not the greatest at this, but I enjoy speaking with you. You're down to earth. You you're humble, and above all, I just wish you well and wish West Indies cricket come back to its glory days. So with that said, thanks again, and may God continue to bless you and your family.
Very kind words there from Mr. Leon Francis as we bring to a close the series of interview with the three from our close interaction. These are three: Roy Reed, Mr. Dennis Eat, and Mr. Leon Francis. Mr. Roy Reed will receive the Lifetime Achievement Award. Mr. Francis and Mr. Eat will be inducted for the very first time in the Cricket Hall of Fame for their contribution to the world game. And we here at West Indies Cricket Development Academy are very, very happy on their behalf. And we want to thank the viewers from India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, the United States, especially in the tri-state of New York and New Jersey for joining. And we also thank those from Florida as well. Quite a few number of viewers from Florida this morning. Thank you for joining. Also from Kingston, Jamaica, and St. John's, Antigua, and Georgetown, Guyana. Thank you as well. Viewers worldwide, even if we don't mention your country and our monitors here, not all the countries come up, but we thank you all for joining this morning. And we want to thank Mr. Francis again for joining us. From us here at West Indies Cricket Development Academy, goodbye until we join you for the induction ceremony coming October 5th there in Connecticut, United States of